Welcome to the October Engineering Committee meeting, starting at 4 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order and stand for the pledge. Thank you. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do you have, in the audience, do you have a copy of the minutes? Okay. Do you have one? I read it already. Okay. Is there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda.
A motion to approve.
I'll second that. Agenda is approved. Public comment, is there anybody online? Do you have any public comment? No, thank you. Item 3, approval of last minutes. Are there any changes to the last minutes? I had none.
I had none. I'll motion.
I'll second. The minutes are approved. That brings us to item number 4, Oeste Recharge Study Project.
We have nothing to update at this moment.
That is related to the Mojave Water District's
Recharge in the Oeste Basin off of Calaveras and Oasis.
So they have done a test hole.
Two
test holes.
And we are working on getting those drillers logs, and as soon as we have them, we'll include them. And other than that, I have nothing else new to report.
Now, there was a study. We saw kind of the preliminary, some of the plates and figures. Do you have any idea when that will be published?
I don't, but we'd be happy to bring that back.
Well, when we get like the boring logs and stuff like that, we can put it together as a package.
Yes, so that was provided to us at the last meeting. There were a portion of that was requested to not include to the committee yet, just for protection. But we do have that information, and we're just waiting for clearance from Mojave.
Okay.
So permission, pretty much. That it's a draft. It's
Yeah,
been
it's just a
finalized,
draft,
so
yeah.
want to make sure everything's in there is correct and updated.
Good. All right. Well, when that's ready, love to see
Yeah.
it.
The driller logs are in there, locations, and what I had provided, the exhibits were as much as I could really provide.
Okay. That's it for it. Do you have any
No.
comments to that? Let's do recharge. Okay, number 5, discussions regarding the water system.
Okay, got a few items to cover on this one. Well 11's rehabilitation is going really well. Luckily, that construction was steel and louvered. We airburst that this week. Even better news, we were scheduled for pump installation next week. They had some scheduling rearrangement. That actually begins tomorrow. We're having a post-rehabilitation video log on well 11 done tomorrow, and then the pump's going downhole. Staff just finished trenching for the new pump to waste for well 11. Mountain Wells equipment has been ordered. The Edison request for service has been initiated. Our 10-year tank maintenance service, we're just getting into tank washout season for the year. We usually begin that late November, early December. So we'll be in the next month and a half diving into that. Our service line replacement program, we did 11 last month, which brings us to 149 services replaced calendar year to date and 21 fiscal. The guys are doing an awesome job. We're just starting down Sonora Road ahead of the Sonora Road pipeline protection project. That'll be coming before the board here in the not too distant future. We've got 4 construction meters out. We've sold 70 residential meters. 95 were sold in 2021. Production's down Shifting from 2013, staff felt that that baseline's getting rather old. So we elected, and it looks like the state's going to have us using 2021 as a baseline. So we went ahead and shifted that. Just to give a kind of this year versus last year comparison, production was down about 12%.
From 21?
For 22 versus 21.
Yeah, it was lower than 2021.
Yes, sir.
So that will be the new baseline, because the other one was 13, 14.
It was. Every indication, and they have made note that we're going to be using 2021 as a baseline up into 2025.
Yeah.
We did get our quarterly chromium back. Again, happy to report we see 6A and 6B. Chromium concentrations are down across the board. So again, just kind of touching back when we gave that chromium update to the board a while back. 2 of our wells are above 10 part per billion. We've profiled 1. We just can't enact the packer until we get more production capacity. Southwest is indicating we'll be drilling in November. My fingers are crossed, although let's hope they don't hit anything else hard and they can get out here and get our well going so we can complete. It's looking like the MCL for chromium, we're going to have till 2024, 2025, based upon our system size, to get under 10 part per billion. And I'm very confident with well profiling and all the work we've done so far that that is successful. We have well 14 left to do and well 12 to pack. That's where we stand on that. The fill stations dispensed about 4.5 million gallons, and that's just this calendar year. We're current on all dead end efficiencies. We had Edison come through and perform electrical efficiencies throughout the district. So again, just another great baseline so we can target future rehabs. We kind of triaged our booster work in the years past upon our packing needs. And then what that is, it's where the shaft comes out of the pump. There's a different way of doing it that lets out 0 water, so 0 waste. We've been enacting that. But now, as that requirement's settling down for us, we're going to target electrical efficiency to be as efficient and ecologically friendly as we can. Our water meter replacement. So we are at 43% complete in the district. The good news, we have received a shipment of 1-inch meters, so we're only back ordered. I have the meters to do the whole district, less 1,200 1-inch meters.
Less 1,200?
Less 1,200. I'm only waiting on 1,200 more 1-inch meters. I'm still waiting on about 4,500, so that would be the remainder of the MXUs. That's the antenna I need to make the entire device work. So I don't have a ship date on those, but those were expected to ship before the 1-inch meters, so it's looking good. There is movement finally. We are receiving some product. It's not necessarily at the speed we'd like to see, but they're struggling with the supply chain just like the rest of us. So I'm confident we still are on target. It's October that we will close that project out this fiscal.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
on
ma'am.
that? Okay, so we're still missing meters. We're still missing stuff that you need to put the meters in.
Yes, ma'am.
And we paid for all that, right?
We have not paid for, we don't pay
We
for
didn't pay for
inventory
anything in
until
advance?
it's received. That is correct.
And are they still doing the other companies?
Yes, ma'am. So I'm on about a weekly conference with Concord. They're aware of our situation. They're as desperate for us to get meters as everyone else because their work has slowed significantly. So as soon as we received our materials, they'll be out and we'll be installing.
Okay.
And they're gonna allocate more resources and staff to close our project out a little quicker because of really pushing to get it done this fiscal. And then as we kind of flip pages, it'll be page 5 through 15 of our packet. Our pump and well services agreement, current contract will expire April 20th of this coming, so about 6 months from now, or April 20th of 2023. General Pump reached out to me. Currently, we pay labor rates and equipment rates from 2017, 2018. What staff is seeking is the committee recommendation to take to the board an extension to that contract for 1 year with a 7.6% cost of living adjustment off those 2017, 2018 rates. I feel it's extremely fair given that the CPI index for our area was either 8.6 or 8.8, and they're asking for a 7.6 across 4 years. And I'm happy to answer any questions, and the documentation is on page 5 and back.
You only want to extend the current contract 1 year, is that?
That is correct, yes, sir.
So just
And-
1 year.
An additional year, so that would take us to April 2024.
How come 1 year versus usually?
So when we had originally put out the RFP for this contract, it was a 1-year contract with the possibility of extending 3 additional years, which we've elected to do up until now. They reached out and proposed this idea, and I thought it would be extremely beneficial to the district, and brought this forth to committee for review in hopes that the board would take it under consideration.
Okay, so what you're asking is for a year extension on the current contract rather than sending out RFPs for new contracts?
Yes, sir.
And so you plan on doing that next year?
Putting out an RFP for a new contract?
New, for,
Yes, sir.
to multiple
Yes, sir.
pump businesses next year?
That is correct.
Okay.
But why next year, not this year?
I thought it was financially beneficial to the district with only a 7.6% adjustment based on the 2017, 2018 rates. I feel like it would be significantly higher if we took it out.
And we've been with them for how long?
It's 4 years.
April 20th, 2023 will be 4 years.
Well, General Pump is one of the, good ones. There's obviously numerous ones, but
Things have gone up. And
yeah,
guess-
I mean, things are going up. So new contracts, they're going to be much higher. I know they are. They probably will be next year too, but
It's hard to say.
so rather than doing it this year, you want to extend it 1 more year. Well, it'll give you a year to prepare for the RFP.
Yeah.
I guess I don't have any
Issues with it?
issues with it. Yeah, General Pump's a good company.
We've had a lot of profiling success with them. We launched that profiling about 4 years ago. I guess it'll be 4 years around April. We've had success after success, and to date, we've actually given up no production capacity. We've only increased while being able to lower that hex chrome concentration. Are they the only company that could perform that work? No. But
No, the first company that did it was
Lane,
Lane,
correct.
and we had
Pacific Surveys.
Pacific Surveys doing it.
And we've extrapolated that data across the board and enacted it under General Pump and had, to date, luckily no failures. Everything we've touched has gone really our way. I hope that trend continues and I never have to report unsuccessful stories. I'm very confident in our well profiling abilities.
No, I think we figured it out. Well, I don't have an issue for 1 more year.
If you guys feel that it's best, and
If that's
stay
what
with them
they're
for 1 more
recommending,
year.
I don't have a
mean,
problem with it.
Thank you. And I also would like to report the community fill station, the electric service. I know it can be frustrating at times. We're about 70% done. We have mandrel inspection tomorrow. We'll install the panel and we'll finally have power out there and be able to light it up like a Christmas tree, or we'll do whatever we want to do. So Edison can be at times a little frustrating, but it's moving. So we're
Well,
on-
because it's going to get dark at 4 o'clock here pretty soon, so.
True. So
Okay. You have any questions on all of this? I had a question. You in 11 rehabs, you air cleaned it. Are you going to single swab it and see if any materials come in
I apologize. That was done last Friday.
after the?
That is correct. After it
Cleaning?
was airburst,
Yeah.
we dual swabbed and then bailed. We did get some fines, and I'm confident we
You
actually
should get some fines.
we upsized that pump 50 GPM. We're extremely confident with the work performed. We're going to get that additional production capacity.
Yeah,
And
because
this time we're going to not use that clay dispersing polymer I'm such a fan of. We stuck purely with mechanical, and I'm
Yeah, you cleaned it, it was cleaned before. So now, just as the water enters into the well, fines slowly move in over time and build up. And so just getting the fines out, that's what you should see when you develop a well. If you don't get anything, then your gravel pack's probably locked up with the formation. But if you get some fines in, that means that you're should get a little better production.
And we treated it just like 6A and 6B, where we targeted from about 550 to about 715 feet, as that seems to be our Goldilocks zone of, if we pull there, that lowers our hex chrome concentration
Yeah,
significantly.
yeah, that's definitely in the bottom zones, the hex. Okay, does anybody in the audience have any questions about, it was gone through pretty quickly, but we have time for questions.
I just had one question. How long, when we do an RFP for the contract, how long do the contracts usually for?
Typically, when you're, and that can vary across the different service, like our current tank maintenance contract is a 10-year contract, but our current well and booster contract is 1-year duration.
Anything else to add, George? Oh, you have a question, yes.
Yes, this matches with the meters from last year. However, what about the solar panel, the solar whatever, meters?
Our solar farm?
I suppose it wasn't developed yet, maybe 2 years ago. Developed this building.
The meters, how they're read differently?
Yes.
Oh, well, we have set up 2 towers. When we first started the district, they were all manually read. We had 2 drivers all month long driving around taking readings. Then we converted to radio meters after the district started, where they could just drive by and they could pick up the signal. So we had 2 people full-time reading meters. We went down to 1 person part-time, and now the new meters send signals through the towers that we put up automatically to the district. So there won't be any more reading of a manual or anything reading. They'll all just through basically radio signal. I assume it's radio signal.
We have
Cell
3
tower,
towers.
basically.
We have 3
Uh,
towers.
We have 3 or 2?
3.
3.
3, okay. To cover the district. Once all the meters have been swapped out that have that new capability, then
Not complete?
no, we have about a little over half of them swapped out now.
Okay, and then the funding for these, they were waiting for the 10-year funds?
Well, we have the funding for it already. We're just waiting for the supply. They're not,
Shipping them.
there's a supply shortage of materials, and so we have them ordered, but we don't have all the new meters yet. And hopefully pretty soon, and we're, hopefully,
The meters you're talking about were behind for just residents that would?
yeah, it's resident meters.
Near projection, or for also storage, more storage?
It's all the meters for the district, yeah.
It'll,
There were separated.
Yeah, there was 1 inch for bigger ones and 3/4 inch for most households. But all the meters will be replaced, and then it will be all radio signaled. And then individuals can go onto the website and look up their consumption at any time. So you can also, one thing about this is that they record all the time and pretty fine, and you can see if you've got a little bit of water use at 3, 4 in the morning, you've got a leak probably, or you've got your toilets are running or something like that. So this should help in water conservation also.
Okay, because you already have 149 for replaced meters for the fiscal.
Uh-huh.
Right? Is that right?
so those are service lines.
Certified,
Yes,
so not
ma'am.
residential meters.
So that's the service line from the water main up to the water meter.
Yes, so there's 2 things. You have the pipelines that are buried in the streets, right? The water pipelines, they're from 6 to 8 to 12 inches. From there, each residence has a small line, a tap, and a small line that goes to the meter that then goes to the house. And so, though we've been replacing basically 150 of those lines, which go from the pipes to the meter for the house, they're old and leak. And we've been replacing those, trying to replace 150 a year.
Okay, so that was a result, that wasn't even to how at that point, this was 2 years ago?
And when we started it, it's been a bit.
Couple of years.
Our service line replacement program's about 5 years old right now.
Yeah, well, okay. So, no, this was a talk with Chris Johnson, that he was talking with me last year, and when it was in that small building over there, in smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have 149. So these are the ones that we're waiting that are not able to be made due to supply materials?
No,
No.
the service line replacements, see, they have to be dug up and then, new line, so it's a lot of work. And so we try to budget about 150 a year so that we're slowly replacing all of them. And plus, we find leaks in those, and obviously when we find a leak, then we just replace the whole line. But the service lines are separate from the meters, so.
Those are the $10,000 ones?
That's the meter itself. You want to know how many meters we've replaced over the last year? Is that what you're trying to find out? And
I'm trying to figure out what remainder is left.
we have, what did you say, Sean? 40?
We've replaced 3,090 of the 7,201. That leaves us with a balance of about 4,100,
Yeah.
4,111.
That still need to be replaced.
Okay. And,
But we're waiting for shipment on those. We don't have shipment.
and also labor for 149 in case there's repairs also that come in contact.
Yeah, that's kind of a separate thing, but
The separate, but if you have the product and you don't have enough labor, like you said, to process time, to dig it, to replace it, and then check for any leaks,
no, we don't have, well, kind of, yes and no.
this and that. It's not as big as a thing.
Kind of. You're welcome.
Okay, anything else on item number 5?
we covered
Going,
it.
gone. Number 6, Smiths and Springs update.
Well, we're getting to about that time of the year again. Tried December, January. We like it to be good and cold. We'll head back up and muck out any vegetation. The flows have really curtailed. It's less than a gallon per minute.
Yeah.
It's struggling up there.
It's dried up. Is there still a little pond there?
There's desanding basin. There's still a little one.
The desanding pond?
Yeah, no, there's just not a whole lot happening up there. It's shrinking as well.
It's shrinking, so
Yeah.
so the outflow is greater than the inflow.
Yeah.
That's a nice walk, by the way, to go up to Smiths and Springs and take a look at that. Anything else? 7, any new state regulations updates?
Yeah, nothing update. I spoke with Jan. She's kind of in touch with those regulations, and there isn't anything to update.
Nothing new?
Nothing
Okay.
new.
Number 8, review of current projects.
The Pressure Zone 6, one of the 2 projects, the Pinion Hills Road Waterline Project, we'll be bringing that to the board at the second meeting in November. And I guess pending field staff availability, then we'll begin work on that. So that's Sean's decision on when that's going to happen.
Okay.
The other line, the Mescalero that we always discuss as part of the zones, that pressure zone extension, there's some field testing on the east side. I think then we can kind of schedule with Sean, set out loggers and kind of do some testing out there.
Jeez. getting a little
Bat in the hatches.
Yeah. The new well number 15, survey stake-in will happen a week before the driller mobilization. Again, I think Sean kind of mentioned we're looking at November for beginning work at.
You better get a firm date from Kurt, or he'll just keep pushing it off.
I'm happy to bring forward those emails, although
Oh.
I can be quite persistent.
Yeah, because we're already off.
We had some
we'd like to
extensive
get it-
conversations last week. I can assure you my displeasantness of being pushed was conveyed in a professional manner. They know my sense of urgency.
Your board has a sense of urgency as well, let them know.
Yeah, we'd like to get it online by next summer, so.
We would.
Yeah, so a few months after they begin work, then, and we get a feel of what the production of that well is, then we'll move forward with the pipeline.
Don't we have
finalizing
the pipeline
design.
already sized?
We have the material, and we do have that 12-inch line.
Can't that be surveyed in when you survey the site?
Well, we could do the staking, but for the well, the staking of the well, we're just asking that we get the corners of the property and the location of the well based on the pipeline design. When we get into construction, which could be months after, when we go through the process for soliciting bids and selections and all the other, which is like a 2-month process, then the surveyor will be on contract to go out there and stake the pipeline.
Okay, so what you're telling me is the testing won't be done until January. And you don't have an RFP ready for the pipeline?
We've done several pipelines in the past. We have one in place. It's just a matter of updating the
So
RFP.
how long would it take to do that process?
When we do the advertisement, questions, responses, selections, bring it to the board for award recommendation, typically we give about 2 months.
Well, shouldn't we be getting ready to do that? Because this is October.
Yeah.
If it takes a couple of months to get that process done, and
Yeah.
then.
Don't we have to wait for the
Then it
well?
has to be, then it has to be awarded, right? Then they have to schedule it, and a mile of pipeline will take,
Depending on the contractor, we've seen them put in a mile of pipeline in 2 weeks.
yeah, okay,
In a
so
week. I
say
mean, let's
a
just
month
say
or.
open desert.
No more than a month, because
Yeah.
it's open desert, basically. It's,
Yeah.
should be easy trenching and
It's
stuff,
about,
but-
yeah, 4 miles of pipe, yeah.
So, that's pretty tight to try to get it done by May.
When we look at towards the end of the year and then going through those 2-month process and then the work, I think we'll be able to get.
5
in.
months is not a problem?
Oh, yeah, absolutely not.
Okay. Well, 'cause I'm just looking at, it gets hot in May. We could
And
use
it
the
does, yeah,
we could use
yeah,
the water being delivered.
And I don't anticipate it going into May or even April. I
Oh.
think it'd be a lot sooner.
Okay.
And as we drop bullet points to the mountain well, we tentatively will have that online for next summer as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be ready.
Yeah, because we're not drilling.
Yeah.
Correct,
It's
the
just,
hole's there.
it's just outfitting it.
Yeah.
So,
We also
so
have to land an Edison service
the,
there.
the only one I see would be slowing it down would be Edison
For our new well.
for the 15, yeah.
So
Because they can be,
up to design is done, and it's called the flicker calcs. We can't run the flicker calcs until we know a well yield to size of horsepower to depth.
right.
So as soon as we know that, but the applications are in, the design work is done. We've even done field walks with Edison twice. They stand at the ready. They know our sense of urgency out there as well.
Okay. Well, it's a 450 volt, 3-pot, operation. That's what it's going to be.
Luckily, they've done a lot of reworking. The way the power used to feed down Sheep Creek no longer happens that way. It actually feeds up.
From our solar farm, right? No, I just teasing.
Kind of, not quite.
Sort of.
But they've really rehabbed that area really well. We don't see the power anomalies like we did last year. So we're confident, and the new designer we have seems to really make the projects come through a lot quicker than they used to.
Good, okay.
Yeah, I think before we would have said that Edison would have been that delay, you know, that takes us into May. It's not looking like that anymore.
Well, if we can get out and be drilling by the end of the year, we should have some pump test results, so.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else on item 8, on
No.
the wells, construction? Any questions? Staff reports? Number 9?
I got none.
Other than what was included as a handout, I have nothing additional.
All right, action items, I don't think we we had any. Did we have any action items? No. And I don't think we have any this time, we're just getting update on everything.
I believe we do, Amy, if I'm not mistaken. Taking the taking the general pump and maintenance contract to the
back,
board,
yeah.
and we'll catch that. We have a meeting next week. I can get that memo to you tomorrow.
Yeah, yes, okay.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
So your mountain well, what do you think that's gonna pump?
To the system or?
Do something I'll
permit-
understand. How's that,
Permitted
Sean?
online, and if you wanted to cut a ribbon, is that the question?
Yeah.
I can push a permit through in 2 months through State Water Resource Control Board. It used to be 6. I pull some strings. It can be done in 2. Outfitting, equipping, April, May, June. I think it's been pretty conservative.
And what do you anticipate it pumping, though?
I know this one might sweep you off your feet. 95 gallons a minute.
Oh, really?
Given its area, it would be twice a better producer than one of the current existing wells there.
We'll take 50 if we get 90, is.
That area is way up in the mountains. We just
Right.
don't see the yields like we do down here. It's 2 different animals. We got fractured rock and we got sand beds.
Yeah.
Given where it's at, that's really a good producer. And it's also our cheapest water. Our pumping costs are minimal because it's the top of the district. So that water can be cascaded down.
It's all downhill.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, with that, there is pipeline also for installation for that project, and there's a couple of ideas that we're kind of shooting around, so we'll be diving into that design here real soon.
What's the calcium, is it hard?
Up there,
Yeah.
surprisingly not that bad.
Not too bad? Okay. Let's see, action items, current meeting. don't-
If you'd like, we could bring the Title 22 report back from the Mountain Well, if that's something the
Okay,
committee
we could
would.
review that,
Can we mark that as an action item, please?
yeah.
Title 22 sampling set for Mountain Well? Because that information would not be found in the CCR.
All right, anything else? Anything else? Setting agenda for the next meeting is November 9th. I think we can probably leave it the way it is right now.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? Nothing more?
Nothing more.
Nothing more? Any other questions? With that, we will call it adjourned at 4:34. Thank you very much.